local station. You're watching the NBA Finals on NBC. Spike says fourth quarter, we're coming back. But they're in a 9-point hole.
Well, Bob, they better. They cannot get down 3-1. They will not win the last 3 games this series. So it's going to take everything New York has in this fourth quarter. The crowd, execution, effort, defense, the whole thing to be able to pull this win out now.
Do they make it a best 2 out of 3 by pulling even, or are they pushed to the brink? Thomas gets them 2 points closer. They swing it to the corner for Jaren Jackson. Now it's Sean Elliott. They're patient, still plenty of time. 7 on the 24. Elliott's got a good look at it, and he drills it.
He has got to continue to be aggressive. When he shoots the ball well, he changes their entire team.
He's in double figures now with 10. Allen Houston trying to bring the Knicks back.
When you can shoot the basketball like that, you can post further on the floor because you can just catch and shoot it. That's what Allen Houston just did.
Relatively quiet night for him so far. 15 points. And a travel on Duncan.
Jeff Van Gundy has totally changed his defense on the screen roll. It's what he told Jim Gray at halftime. They're jumping out hard now on Avery Johnson, and you can see he's not getting in the lane.
Whistle as Houston starts his move on Elliott, and a travel on Allen Houston. So an exchange of walking violations. San Antonio ball.
Allen has a tendency sometimes to shuffle his feet. Got caught that time by Mike Mathis.
Tim Duncan threw it away. Avery Johnson couldn't corral it.
Tim Duncan showed a little bit of this. Remember, Bob, in Game 3, he turned the ball over the first 2 times he touched it. Now, he's played all but 1 minute in this game tonight. David Robinson checks back into the game after a great rest, so he should be fresh. But Duncan with 2 really careless turnovers.
They set it up the same way. Houston along the left sideline, now to Sprewell. Explodes into the lane, but Duncan is there to get a piece of it.
That's an 8th block shot. They've been averaging 7 in the series, only 3 then in Game 3. But tonight, once again, the shot blocking a major factor.
Robinson is pushed and fouled.
Latrell Sprewell thinks, I've got a layup. Doesn't realize Tim Duncan is behind him. Just a piece of it, then controls the rebound. So get an opportunity there, Bob, to cut it to 5. The block shot, sideline out of bounds now for San Antonio as Jaren Jackson steps out and Mario Elie back into the game.
After Thomas's 5th foul, he sits down. Camby in for him. Duncan to Elliott. Pull up. Won't go. Robinson on the offensive glass, but the foul is on him. 3 on the Admiral. 9:48 to play in the 4th. Spurs by 7.
San Antonio leads by 7. 9:48 to go in the 4th quarter, and it's been the supporting cast for David Robinson and Tim Duncan tonight. Robinson and Duncan with 29, but Mario Elie and Malik Rose off a miss from Jaren Jackson. Sean Elliott with a spot-up jump shot. These guys have been terrific tonight. We talked about it before the game. Tonight, these guys have a combined 37 points. In Game 3, only 22 points. So Robinson and Duncan's numbers are down. These guys have picked it up.
And so, at least tonight, they don't miss Jaren Jackson, who remains cold, 1 for 7. Johnson poked it away. Nick Ball, 16 on the shot clock.
New York's had about 3 chances here to cut this thing to 5. Basket here, this crowd will really erupt.
It's Houston. And there's a whistle. He'll come to the foul line with a chance to cut it to 5. Mario Elie is the guilty party. It's his 4th. Tomorrow night, join NBC for must-see TV Thursday. Friends, Jesse, Frasier, and Will and Grace, plus the drama of ER. Thursday night, beginning at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on NBC. As we pointed out at the beginning of the broadcast tonight, you think about this wild ride for the Knicks into the finals. It could have ended in Game 5 of the first round. If Houston's shot with less than a second to go doesn't bounce around and fall in, their season's over. Van Gundy's almost certainly fired. The Camby trade is a bust. Sprewell is still regarded as the guy who choked his coach, first and foremost. And the Knicks are a distant memory as the playoffs proceed. Here's the jumper by Elliott that won't drop. Robinson for the tip. Another try. When the Knicks needed to be on the defensive glass there with a chance to get the ball and move to within 3, San Antonio got several cracks at it instead.
Well, they've been beaten on the boards tonight, 34-24, and critical offensive rebound. So Charles Sprewell lays that ball in the basket. But Bob, just to follow up on your point about New York, it just always points out to you how fragile success is. This time it was one bounce to the ball in a basket.
22 now for Spree. Johnson gets into the lane, switches to the right hand. Duncan is there to follow, and he was fouled.
The offensive opportunities, David Robinson tipped it. He tips it once again. He and Duncan both get a hand on that one. So the tip in, the offensive rebound, Sprewell scores, and then Avery Johnson drives into the middle, misses a shot, and Duncan with another offensive rebound. So, again, every time Avery Johnson gets in that paint, it causes problems.
Duncan gets them both, makes it a 7-point game. This after Camby's first foul. He's been in constant foul trouble in this series prior to tonight. Sprewell finds Camby, changes his shot, but draws the contact that will send him to the foul line. It's Robinson's 4th.
San Antonio just does not like to double team. It gets him spread out. Duncan has to go out and help, and when he does, it leaves David Robinson back there by himself. He's late getting there. Camby sort of the up and under, and David with the foul. So now Camby with 2 free throws.
Not a good free throw shooter. Speaking of Camby, not Robinson. Big miss.
Well, they need them all right now. You can ill afford as you're trying to catch up. They're playing from behind tonight, Bob. They played ahead the entire game 3. Tonight, they're playing from behind.
Van Gundy usually goes to Childs in the 4th quarter. Ward is still in there. Is this Charlie's big game tonight, or the lingering effects of Childs' injury? Maybe a combination of the two?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of the two, and I would not be surprised if they need a little offense here to go to that backcourt that we talked about. Sprewell, Houston in the backcourt maybe cause some problems rather than to come back with Childs.
6-point game. Mario Elie flips it to Duncan. He gets Camby off his feet, misses, but a foul. It's Larry Johnson, his 4th. This has not been Larry Johnson's night. Meanwhile, here's another turnaround stat. Offensive rebounds, which have been almost non-existent for the Spurs prior to tonight in this series. They've got a dozen, and Robinson has 9 of them.
Well, remember after game 2, we talked about that they had 9 total offensive rebounds in the first 2 games, and Duncan had 8 of them. Tonight, that's really been a key factor because it's given them multiple shots at the basket, something they had not been getting.
Seven-point game after Duncan makes 1 of 2. Here's Houston accelerating baseline. Camby, turnaround, short. Who touched it last? San Antonio.
You see how quickly Bob Camby shot that ball? Almost the presence of Duncan and Robinson.